Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in this best of 3 matchup. EG Axlab, EG StrifeCrow versus TT1 and Kawaii Rice. EG Axlab spawning once again as the red Protoss player. Meanwhile, over here EG StrifeCrow is switching, I believe, to the yellow Zerg. I'm not sure if they changed their colors. On the other hand, Kawaii Rice did in fact change to a purple Terran. Meanwhile, TT1 is now the blue Protoss. So a little bit of a color change here. And now we'll see whether or not Fnatic will be able to force a game 3 in this best of 3 series. Currently, EG taking a 1-0 lead already. Now, one of the benefits of having an early Zerg player or a Zerg player in a 2v2 matchup is you do not know if he's going to be going for a very, very heavy harassment style or a very heavy economic style during the early portion of the game. And give me one moment. Alright, sorry about that. You guys didn't notice anything, right? Anyways, StrifeCrow getting a couple drones up and running over here, and this is a very different map than Scorched Haven in that you do share a common high ground with you and your partner. The ramp is rather large, but it is at least a common shared high ground point for you to naturally defend. There are destructible rocks on the left and on the right as well, and we'll see if those are cleared out and who they are cleared out by. There is an expansion behind the destructible rocks on all sides, so it is possible that you may try to clear out those rocks for yourself, opening up another expansion location. But if you do clear out those destructible rocks, you also have to open up and defend against a very, very wide choke point as well. One benefit though is there is this brush area over here where you can hide some siege tanks and some other army units as well to try and get some damage before those units are able to actually fire back. The map is pretty symmetrical in this case. 2 Xel'Naga watchtowers on the left and on the right help you to reveal a large portion. And then there's the center ground area, which I rather find confusing. It's a rather open center ground location, except there's brush right in the way where you cannot see for line of sight. And then it really constricts how open this map really feels. If you try to come around this way, your opponent can come down this way, and then you're just up in each other's faces, dealing a lot of damage towards each other. StrifeCrow opting to go for once again an economic game. And this is going to become a very, very similar battle, it appears, and compared to the last one on Scorched Haven, where the game turned into a very macro style, very macro heavy build. Meanwhile, Kawaii Rice going in for that double racks, one with a reactor, and we'll see if any damage can be dealt with Marines and perhaps Marauders in just a moment. I believe another supply depot needs to be placed down here for that front door seal. Units can easily squeeze through that right there. I believe even with the tech lab, that is enough, and that SCV are going to slip by, and now, yeah, needs to build another supply depot in order to finish that M1 and building off there. TT1 currently going into that Simon X core, training up some stalkers, a pretty standard build as well. As Axlab going into the observer first by getting that robotics facility. By getting that robotics facility and that early observer, that observer is going to reveal a large portion of the map and really give a lot more map control and a lot more map presence. Fog of War is one of those things that's very important in a 2v2 situation. Because you and your partner share vision, you really have a wider range of information to rely on in trying to figure out what is happening in the game. If you take a look into Kawaii's Rice vision right now, he doesn't really see very much. Either does TT1, since they do share common vision. But in 2v2, you definitely need as much vision as possible. And I would say that at this time, StrifeCrow controls about 60 to 70% of the map, just with vision and knowing what to expect and what not to expect. The only real dark area is this area over here inside each other's base, but Kawaii Rice doesn't know really what's going on inside his opponent's base either. Perhaps the robotics facility, but that early scout doesn't really tell you all that much, as a roach war now coming into play. Back over here, we are getting additional gateways, so this is going to be a 4-gate off of one base with blink stalkers. So those stalkers are going to be able to move at the speed of light and then just get a lot of damage in rather quickly. and perhaps be able to pull back fairly quickly as well. The observer of Axlav now sees everything that's happening over there, sees that there are 4 warp gates now being powered in addition to the barracks. So now we are going to see, yes, a very natural defense coming in by StrifeCro. Zerglings and Stalkers are over here. There is 1 sentry, a couple Zealots, a robotics bay about to be completed. It may chrono boost out a Colossus, and it may come out just in time for this army to engage. We are getting a proxy pylon set up in the center portion of the map. The Marines and the Marauders with those Stalkers cannot engage against these Spine Crawlers, though. It is simply too much for them to try to deal with. There is so many units up there. Kawaii Rice now comes up, and there's the 4 Spine Crawlers already coming in. An early probe quickly gets destroyed, and this army realizes it does have to retreat. If TT1 opts to move over here and take down these destructible rocks, that would probably help out and be able to just open up the positioning, as the Stalkers would be in the front portion of that army, Marines in the back, able to clean up against the rest of those Zerglings. And then as TT1 takes damage on those Stalkers, he could try to blink in order to avoid it. These rocks would get cleared rather quickly as Zerglings, trying to do a run by, and it looks like some damage will be dealt, but the supply depots are up just in time as the Stalkers now coming back over and going to get some damage onto those Zerglings. Those Zerglings really have nowhere to run any longer, but some damage will be dealt to the Stalkers. A little bit of critical damage there as Marines and Marauders once again coming back. A large army sitting over here with that 1 Colossus and a lot of splash damage, but the main damage dealers would be those Spine Crawlers with that 2 armor, able to absorb a lot of damage from these Marines. And observers keeping track of both armies. The Stalkers now making their way up, and perhaps they will try to take down these rocks. If these rocks, no, they're not. Only making sure that there is no expansion here, but enough Colossus have made their way over as well, and the opportunity to attack and destroy destructible rocks in order to push into that opponent's base is no longer available to them. And this is once again where having vision on your opponent is just so critical. Those Stalkers and these Marines and those Marauders constantly being revealed, knowing your enemy's position, knowing their movements and their plannings is just such a benefit right now for EG's team, Axlav and StrifeCro, pretty much knowing that they don't have anything to worry about. Axlav now getting another expansion of his own into play. Taking a look at the harvester count, 29, 34 for EG, 30 and 34, so it is about even at this point. No real way to see up onto that high ground, but if they blinked up onto that high ground, they would simply get destroyed in a matter of seconds, as that is not a place where you really want to be at this time. You can see perhaps destroying the destructible rocks here, getting some damage into here, and then being able to blink from the high ground to the low ground and get some more damage, and then blink off. That would probably be a very, very wise choice at this point. But no, Axlav and StrifeCro just pretty much sitting in their base, playing proper defense, and we'll be able to get up a very large army in just a moment. You can see the food count starting to spread a little bit more. StrifeCro is sitting up at 100 food over 116 compared to 86, 86, and 83. So I think StrifeCro running off of 2 hatcheries, as long as he doesn't miss a spawn larva, doesn't have a thing to worry about either. But no glial reconstitution yet, so no movement speed upgrade on those roaches. We are getting an infestation pit though, so infestation pit should be a very, very large benefit as well. And we saw how effective those infestors were in that last battle, as we are now going into Vikings. Vikings obviously there to try to counter the Colossus that may be coming in from coming in from Axlav. Axlav has already 2 Colossi in play. A third one just came out, and we should be training up more as soon as he has the gas and the minerals. Zerglings have cleared out the destructible rocks here, and another base being established. So a very gutsy move by StrifeCro. A Marine does see that the hatchery was placed down here, and perhaps we will see some of those units come in. Zerglings now trying to put pressure on the backdoor rocks, and TT1 quickly comes over, shoots down an Overlord, and now perhaps we'll try to blink back up and try to get back into proper position. Pathogen glands now being trained up as well. Infestors will come out with exactly 75 energy, enough for a fungal growth, as the Zealots with charge now being added to the army as well. More Vikings still being added in order to deal with the Colossus there. We are still getting more and more Colossus, but Axlav doesn't really have that many resources. Army-wise, we see 123, 106, versus 119, 116. Upgrade wise, level 1 weapons upgrade Vikings, and now another reactor with another starport being added as the Stalkers are looking to perhaps deal some damage, and with no real observer or with no real detection, that observer has pretty much been keeping track of this army without anything to be concerned about. Stalkers quickly coming in. This one hatchery going to get destroyed in a matter of seconds there. Yeah, gonna get canceled. Instead, StrifeCrow, able to escape with that drone, and perhaps it will grow up to be a hatchery once more, as the army just sitting back over here, as well as another expansion being placed down by StrifeCrow here. And now, yeah, this is just a very, very long, and both armies do not want to engage just quite yet. Level 1 weapons upgrade about halfway completed for the Terran army of Kawaii Rice. But no more upgrades anywhere else. We are finally getting that observer cleared out, and now the Colossus able to get in some easy, quick damage, hiding behind that brush over there, and the units are now in retreat. There is a lot of Stalkers. Stalkers against a mass army of Colossus is never a good battle at all, as the Colossi and Infestors and Zerglings are perhaps going to go in for a really, really big flank here. Stalkers are now trying to engage. Infestors are in the back. Zerglings may come in from around the side, and yes, they are coming in, destroying those Zealots as they engage. Also, force fields coming in as well, so the Stalkers are not able to blink away either. The Vikings are trying to shoot down the Colossus, but there are just simply too many Colossus and too many Stalkers in the back, also shooting those units down as well, as the armies are just battling it out. The losses are getting higher and higher. It looks as though Fnatic taking the majority of the losses so far. But the Stalkers are now once again trying to push forward, trying to press what advantage they thought they had, but no. Another fungal growth stopping many of the Zealots and the Stalkers in their tracks. The Zealots pretty much have nowhere to run at this point, since they're stuck in the mud. And so much damage has been dealt. Army-wise, you can see down to 200, 1700, and 775. We have a very large army by Axlab, a decent number of Infestors. The Vikings, once again, trying to come back in. Stalkers are going to attempt to finish off the Vikings. A missile turret even joining in on the fight as well. And there's the GG. The more Colossus still coming in. And now Axlab and StrifeCrow was, in fact, able to take Game 2 in this best-of-3 series. Axlab winning 2-0. Axlab and StarCraft winning 2-0 over Fnatic's TT1 and Kawaii Rice. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay. Or sorry, this 2v2 replay. Why do I always do that? This 2v2 replay between EG and Fnatic. Stay tuned for any additional games. The link to Game 3 in the description box is obviously false. I just put it there as a hidden link so that people don't know the outcome of the games. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.